So no way, no how Democrats are going to even consider raising the eligibility age for Medicare, even if it is decades out, but no problem pushing through tons of environmental rules and hefty fines right now. Conservative columnist Crystal Wright at townhall.com's political editor Guy Benson on the very real and expensive double standard right before our eyes. Crystal, wow, incredible. Explain what's going on here.
Well, apparently the Environmental Protection Agency thinks that it's a good time to make soot standards even more rigid so that businesses can have another disincentive to create jobs and put money back in the economy. I mean, it really makes you scratch your head, Neil. This is the same Environmental Protection Agency that thought it was also a good idea to toughen up dust standards on farms, which they decided last week when they had to, every 5 years, the EPA has to kind of revisit the Clean Air Act, and they have to they can keep the standards status quo, they can lower them. And I think, like Newt Gingrich said, this agency needs to be abolished. It's a job killer. And at a time when we need jobs, and we're talking about businesses investing in the economy and getting the economy growing again, this just makes you go,
well, it also has me coming up with creative adjectives off air. But, Guy, I'm wondering about why it's okay to ram this stuff down our throats with many of us unaware it's even going on. And it's an anathema to even consider raising Medicare's eligibility age for young folks like you many, many decades out.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something that is clearly necessary when it comes to fixing the entitlement programs. And listening to the congressman a few segments ago was rather frustrating at several junctures. But your point, Neil, is well taken about the need to do this sort of through a jam-through process at the last minute. I think it's important to note conservatives don't believe in pollution. Conservatives don't think that there's no need for governmental regulation whatsoever when it comes to the environment. But you have to have a certain degree of a balancing test. And we just went through an election, Neil, where the number one issue for all Americans was jobs and the economy. So if the president wanted to ram through some of these regulations that Lisa Jackson, his EPA chief, is doing, he should have made it very clear we are going to go on this environmental adventurism at the expense of jobs and let the voters decide whether or not they wanted to endorse that. And I don't think that was made crystal clear. And by the way, they've tried this already in Congress, cap and trade. They had a vote on it. They couldn't pass it through a Democrat-dominated Senate.
You ram stuff by edict. What worries me, Crystal, is this does not set an encouraging stage for not only the cliff talks, but any sort of budget serious talks next year.
No, it doesn't. And Guy just kind of laid it out pretty well as the former Bush official that you just spoke with. The problem is our entitlements. Our entitlements right now, if we look 75 years into the future, the Congressional Budget Office has said that Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid are virtually 100% responsible for our budget deficits in the next 75 years.
We're not doing anything about it.
And we don't want to do anything.
Right. And Guy, that's kind of your concern, real quick, right?
Well, I think that what is important to come back to here is we've sort of done away with normal budgeting processes. We haven't passed a budget in 3.5 years. And we've also done away with, in some cases, Congress and legislation. If Congress doesn't pass something that the administration wants, be it the DREAM Act, whether it's on DOMA or Don't Ask, or rather No Child Left Behind, they just do it.
Okay. Guy, Crystal, thank you both.